MLS Aces Podcast, episode 192. This is your host, Tom Sweezy, and we got the OG crew together. Sam, Jason, me, and I think some beer involved. So that's always the fourth member when Vaughn's not around. Boys, how are we? Jason, I feel like it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you. How are you?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm good. You know, just living the life, working, watching soccer. Hanging out,
hitting the links, and trying to become.
It actually was a links course.
Oh, I don't know what that means. But
that means there's no trees. I think that's actually what it means. Yeah.
Okay. Just for reference for people listening or watching, Jason was at a driving range earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
So we
so technically, I wasn't hitting the links. I think. I don't know. I don't know golf terms. Okay, I definitely don't know enough golf terms to say this. First of all, for people who are listening, I'm not a golfer. Don't ask me questions about golf.
If this is your first time listening or watching the show, podcast,
pro golfer, Jason,
you want to call it, Jason's a great golfer.
Oh no,
Portland Timbers fan. So if you want to talk to him, he is at Jason Vivang on Twitter.
Chicago Fire never going to lose a game again.
Sam Nelson, how are you, bud?
I am doing very well. Happy to be here. Happy that my team has successfully fired Chris Armas twice in 2 years. So now we're talking. So I'm happy.
We will talk about that in a little bit.
There should be a trophy for that. Most opposing
managers fired.
Yeah, fired. Yeah.
This one was a lot better than the first one.
Like I would take that trophy. It's better than the wooden spoon, and I've got a couple of those.
I mean,
that poor spoon.
I don't know how
it just gets passed around the Midwest, doesn't it?
There's only been like 4 wooden spoons. I'm pretty sure they've gone to 2 teams.
No, there's been as many wooden spoons as there's
been. But like they didn't technically make that wooden spoon trophy till recently.
There's no actual trophy.
Yeah,
is there a real trophy?
I
didn't know that.
Maybe
no, I'm saying like a league, like
no, the league they would never do that.
Okay, so then there's been 20 something.
True. Okay,
25.
The Fire have 2 of them, maybe.
All right, Sam. If you guys want to know, Sam is our DC United beer expert. He is the #1 father in the world. Doesn't have the hat on tonight. I'm really disappointed.
Not tonight. I know.
I wanted to see a repeat of the hat, but
I like the hat though.
You can find him at Uncle_Sam XIII. My name's Tom Sweezy. You can find me pretty much at MLSAces because that's the only Twitter account I function off of.
Sometimes I see an actual Tom Sweezy tweet, and I'm like, no way, in the wild.
Like,
I feel like what's the guy who narrates all those nature documentaries? I feel like that guy.
David Attenborough.
David Attenborough. Yeah, that's me whenever I see Tom's tweets on Twitter.
Pretty much the at
Spider-Man meme.
Twitter account is for anything not soccer related. I mean, so
it's not enough time.
It's me bitching about the Knicks, the Mets, the Jets, whatever it may be. So
there's a lot of time for that, though.
There is a lot. There's been 25 years of that.
I mean, I can't function with 2 Twitter accounts. I can't focus on 2.
I tried it.
Good for you.
I've tried it.
Yeah,
already.
I can't do it.
It died out within a week and a half. I can't even run 1 Twitter account.
Well, if you guys want to see more of us on Twitter, our ats are on the screen. Just mentioned our ats for the podcast listeners. If you guys want to see more of us on Instagram, we are at MLSAces on there as well. YouTube and Twitch, you guys can just search MLSAces. If you're watching this currently present live, then you're on the Twitch, so good for you. You made it.
You found it.
If you want to learn more about us, MLSAces.com. Got some bios up there. We have blogs every single day or weekly, or I don't even know what's going on right now. Graham is killing it with the blog game, and I'm just trying my best to help him out and give some content to him there. You guys can support us at patreon.com/MLSAces, and you can also support us on MLSAces.com. Pretty much small monthly fee gets you into the group chat. You guys can chat with us, and we can talk about golf and beer offline. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's a lot of golf
we've
talk
ever talked about golf. I don't think
we're going to create a new channel.
It's going to be golf, and it's just going to be every time you go play golf, so you just send a picture of the course.
Yeah, just send the picture of you. No talking, just pictures.
It's just pictures of me with like mid swing, like
It's a good swing, Jason. It's a good swing.
Thank you. That's why I was at the driving range.
We have MLS Aces t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, tank tops, baseball tees, whatever it may be, available for purchase. If you are interested, go on the social medias, go on Twitter, go on Instagram, and you guys will see a link to the store. Podcast listeners, and YouTube watchers, I guess, afterwards, the link to the store will be in the bio as well. So you can go and check that out. We have more than what I have in the notes sold. I just haven't updated it. So people are buying it. Get yours before the store closes out. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys watching, listening probably came for us talking about soccer. So I guess we should go into that. And Sam, you already mentioned it. Your team put up a touchdown and Chris Armas fired from Toronto FC. I mean, you're
welcome, Toronto fans. You're welcome. Yeah. So I guess I should talk about it now. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. What a game! I can't say I was expecting a win against Toronto. Maybe a draw. The way things were kind of running for DC. Could have seen a 1-0, but 7-1. First of all, didn't keep a clean sheet. Kind of upset, but now I've held DC to very high standards these days because Hernan Losada is an amazing head coach, and I think he's really done the team well. Really put it, and it was the system that really got DC through. I mean, it helped a lot that Toronto was put together in shambles, and they showed that on the field as well. But I think it was a really good performance from DC, an embarrassing performance for Toronto, who's just trying to figure out what to do with their players. Obviously, they figured out what to do with their coach, and I don't know. I just kind of feel for Toronto, for a team that was so high, 3 or 4 years ago, and now they're.
You did a good thing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you're welcome, Toronto. Really, really tried hard for you. Again, you're welcome, Red Bulls 2 years ago. It's a crazy situation, and I can't say I saw it coming, and it put a big smile on my face every time my phone lit up with a goal.
Honestly, from a DC United perspective, you got to be so happy. The team seems to have clicked with Losada's tactics and everything that.
And we still don't have everyone back healthy yet.
No.
Yeah. Or no. Yeah.
And you're going to be missing some players due to Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 big ones. So we'll see how the next couple of weeks kind of move forward. But
so for everyone listening, I don't want to dive too deep in conversation on the notes, so we can kind of talk about the Gold Cup, preview the Gold Cup, because that's going to be probably the big chunk of this episode. But I do want to say that obviously underneath Armas, Toronto FC was worse than the league, worse than the Eastern Conference, awful goal differential. Some people will say players were injured, players were out. Give them that excuse, right? But Armas just looked like he was playing guys out of position, wasn't great. 1 win underneath Armas, and then they come in last night and they beat the Revs 3-2 on the road. So I think Toronto FC has the players to do well. They obviously have names and whatever, but I think maybe we can lean towards blaming Armas a little bit. I'm not going to say one game is the end all be all, but one game definitely showed something, in my opinion. But any points there?
No,
he was bad.
Yeah,
he was bad. At least, if nothing else, he was bad for that team. He wasn't great for New York, but at the beginning, he seemed okay, and it just kind of
seems
fizzled
like a
out.
good assistant coach.
Yeah, he should not be a head coach.
It seems like as a head coach, it's already failed twice. Don't try it again.
Yeah.
Well, I would say to teams looking at him, don't try it
Would
again.
you want him as an assistant now? That's just bad failure.
I would.
Players in locker rooms, especially at Red Bulls, I think less with TSC, more with Red Bulls, have said they love him. They love him as a motivational guy. They like talking to him and BSing with them. That's what you want out of your assistant coach. Yeah. Be friendly with your players, and I think that's what Armas brings. So
maybe he's too friendly, and they don't.
Maybe you can't be your friend and a disciplinary at the same time.
Yeah. Just to Josie. Couldn't play Josie.
I quickly want to mention that the Whitecaps and left back Ali Adnan have agreed to a contract buyout. 53 games for Adnan underneath the Whitecaps name. We'll see where he goes. He's leaving MLS for sure. Always a good player on just a bad team. That's all I have to say about Ali Adnan. But Next thing, major signing or major announcement this week in Major League Soccer. Charlotte FC have announced their first ever manager in club history in Miguel Angel Ramirez. He is coming from Internacional in Brazil, where, he did have an American on the team in Johnny Cardoso. So maybe Johnny was talking up America. I don't really know. But
probably not.
Between Independiente and Internacional, his two clubs that he mentioned, he won a Copa Sudamericana, 43 wins, 21 draws, and 29 losses. So pretty good record leading into a Charlotte FC gig. Yeah. He's a very young manager. Everyone's comparing it to Hernan Losada going to DC. Don't know much about this guy, but I think it's like the sexy young pick.
He looks like an intense guy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I would listen to what he said.
Not like Chris Armas.
Yeah, not like Chris Armas. This guy can discipline pretty well, it seems.
Yeah, and he likes playing his youngsters, and he has a very, apparently a direct attacking style. So
that's exciting. And he's a winner.
Scoring goals. I'm here for it.
That should be good. Good for Charlotte for picking him up, honestly.
And
so I can't wait to hear what Vaughn says.
Yeah, I want to hear Vaughn's take. We'll get Vaughn's take. If you want to hear more of Vaughn's take, listen to the 9607 MLS pod. Vaughn hosts that podcast, and he talks about everything Charlotte soccer there. So I'm sure he'll give his take there. If you want to wait a week and listen to us when Vaughn gets on here, then you can do that. Or listen to both. I think that might be the better play. Yes. But if we want to talk about young attacking players, Inter Miami have signed winger forward American Indiana Vassilev on loan from Aston Villa for the rest of the season. A move that came out of nowhere, especially because Vassilev, I feel like blew up onto the scene 2 years ago now when he got that first random start for Aston Villa. He's been on loan everywhere. I don't think this is enough to save the Inter Miami season, but it's at least the start.
Yeah, I think it could definitely
exciting young American.
Him. Yeah, I think it's more so it's good for him in some ways. Come to America, he's a young American, get some minutes in MLS, get some playing time, help Inter Miami as best as you can. If it does work out really well, it's just even better.
You mean winning League Two with Cheltenham last year wasn't the epitome of what he wants in his career?
I think that's probably not the epitome of what he wants.
But it's a good starting point.
It is, right? Get a trophy, get the winning feeling underneath your belt, and then 2026 right around the corner. The last thing that I want to mention, and probably the biggest move in this secondary MLS transfer window that opened up, was Nashville's signing of striker Ake Loba from Monterrey. It was a club record signing of $6.5 million. From what I know, Monterrey bought Loba from wherever he was before for $9 million. Things really didn't work out. He went on loan in Liga MX, was scoring on loan, just never really kind of got his footing with Monterrey. Now Nashville, they got their guy. Two DP strikers is how I meant to word that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I think it kind of tells into their situation on what they want to do with Yonder Cadiz past this season. But I mean, I'm excited to see this guy get out there and hopefully bang in a bunch of goals for Nashville, because they create chances. They just need to finish it. And maybe
that's something because they keep themselves in games. If they can get someone who's consistently scoring, sky's the limit.
And if you're spending $6.5 million on a striker in MLS,
he better be scoring.
He should be scoring.
He's scoring a lot.
He should be. No, it's not should be. He has to be. Otherwise, you're going away.
Okay. Any points you guys want to mention about MLS, U.S. soccer, anything like that before we dive into our Gold Cup preview for the show? No. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I really wanted to kind of read through that stuff so that we could talk about the Gold Cup. Yes, the biggest trophy in CONCACAF, right?
Yeah, it is.
I guess technically it is, but
it's our Euros.
There's 4 groups, and
I always that. I never put that together that it's our Euros.
It's our Euros.
It's our Copa America. Register in my mind. It's our Copa America. It's our Euros, and I'm
is it because we're good at it and they don't talk about it at all?
They don't really talk about it.
Yeah. No one really gives a shit. That's really why. So, another exciting edition of the Gold Cup. I personally really do enjoy the Gold Cup. It's one of my favorite tournaments to look forward to every odd year, right? So let's talk about it. There's 4 groups in this year's rendition of the Gold Cup, 4 teams in each group. Our invited guest this year is Qatar, our World Cup hosts, they were invited to Copa America, but then got the invite taken away. So we took them. We were like, yeah, we get the scraps here. So we're going to go group by group where Jason and Sam, they each have a team in each group that they're going to talk about. I have 2 in each group to talk about, so get ready to hear my voice. But we're all going to kind of chime in if we have something to say about each other's teams. We'll start, I think, obviously, Group A, and we'll go alphabetical order with Curacao or Caraco or however the hell people say it.
I thought it was Curacao.
I'm pretty sure it's
Curacao.
Now I'm confused.
I'm 99.9% sure it's Curacao, but I heard someone say Caraco in the past like 2 weeks, and now I'm like, huh.
Like some random person or like someone announcing a game?
No, like all the soccer content online that I consume. I heard someone say Caraco. I didn't even know they were talking about Curacao for the first 5 minutes they said it. I was like, what's this Caraco thing?
Caraco.
But wait, Eloy Room doesn't play for Caraco.
I'm going to say Curacao.
That's fine. Go for it. Jason, you are talking about Curacao.
Yeah, so actually one of the things that I do like about the Gold Cup is that there's like sometimes just teams that you wouldn't expect. Curacao is actually a pretty solid team, but there's a lot of teams in here that I was like, they kind of like that very bottom end of the Gold Cup is always interesting to see who gets in. But Curacao is an interesting team. You know, they've played 6 competitive games in 2021. They've scored 16 goals and only allowed 3. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Their 3 wins came against Cuba, British Virgin Islands, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They lost to Panama, and they also drew to Guatemala and Panama. They're actually managed temporarily by Patrick Kluivert, you know, the Dutch great.
Yeah.
Because their other manager is out due to COVID, I believe.
Oh.
He has it.
I think Kluivert should just take over because that's just cool to have.
I think it is cool too. There's like this Dutch connection with them because I think they were probably owned by the Dutch.
They were a Dutch colony.
Yeah. So a lot of the players, like some play in the Dutch division. But I think it's cool that they have Kluivert as their temporary manager. They also, with this kind of core group of players, they've been really good. This is sort of like their best run in their history. They've qualified for 3 consecutive Gold Cups. And then they were 3-0-1 in World Cup qualifying this year before a 2-1 loss on aggregate to Canada. Panama eliminated them from it. And then
that one.
What?
I was upset about that one. I really wanted to see Curacao in the octagonal.
It would have been awesome. Yeah. And they came so close. I mean, 3-0-1 before that was really good.
Yeah.
Their attack is led by Leandro Bacuna and Rangelo Jonga. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce these names right.
Oh, we are going to butcher names tonight.
I actually really made an effort to look up some spellings or pronunciations of
but
these
not
names.
how to pronounce the name of the country?
I just assumed it was Curacao. I've never heard anyone say Curacao. Wow, okay, called out. That's okay. But some of the names I couldn't even find, like Rangelo Jonga. I couldn't find how to pronounce it. But he's 6'5", and he's forward, and he's able to just, like, their strategy, I think, will be just cross it to him. He gets on these headers, and he's really good. So I'm looking for that. Obviously, they have Eloy Room, who's a keeper for the Crew. He's phenomenal. We all see him, you know, week in and week out in MLS. And then they've got a couple guys. So they have Juninho Bacuna on Huddersfield, Leandro Bacuna on Cardiff City, Cuco Martina, who's not on any club, but he's someone who, you know, has had his successes in the past. So they have a solid team, and I think this is a team in Group A that could make it interesting.
I really like this team. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like confident enough in my Curaçaoan, Caracan, I don't know how to say it, soccer knowledge to call this a generation. But this is like, I think if
this is one of their, everything I was seeing was like, this is one of their best generations. Like they've made 3 straight
It's gotta be
consecutive, Gold Cups, which is good for them. I mean, before that, I think it had been, I didn't write it down for a long time.
It's okay. I mean, honestly, I'm very excited to watch this group. Jason, to wrap up Curacao, who's one player on this team that, like, for you, for anyone sitting down who's going to watch this Curacao team try to make it out of Group A, who are you sitting down to really focus on?
I think I'd probably take Rangelo Janga. I keep saying his name. I don't even know if it's right. Just because I think he, like, at 6'5" up front, he's going to be a problem for a lot of these defenses to actually, address. And the fact that his, someone who's going to be playing alongside him, Leandro Bacuna, is also really solid. I think he's going to get a lot of chances. I mean, they scored 16 goals and allowed 3, but 16 goals scored in only 6 games is a huge number. So if they can keep that pace, they're fine. And with Eloy Room, keeping them in the back, then I think they'll be fine. I think this is a team that for sure has a chance to get out of the group.
Yeah, Sam, I was going to ask you, but you probably were going to say Eloy Room out of this group. I mean, just knowing.
Oh, the goalkeeper.
I'm excited to see Juninho Bacuna. I think, honestly, he's like the youngest star on this team. Had a good season in the championship last year. I'm excited to see what he can do and what he can bring. El Salvador, I'm pretty sure that's one of mine to talk about, correct?
Yep.
Got it. Okay. El Salvador, interesting group here. And I'm excited I actually got to talk about these guys. So far in 2021, 6 competitive games and 2 friendly so far played, 19 goals scored and only 2 goals allowed. They've played some very good defensive soccer. The competition hasn't been the greatest. I'm also going to point that out.
I feel like that's a lot of these teams, though.
Yes. 5 wins coming from Grenada, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Antigua, and Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis twice. They lost to Qatar once, and then
I've literally never heard of that.
I mean, it's a lot of smaller, countries. That's it.
You got to go on vacation more, too. I want to cruise sometime, bro.
Tell my boss.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful countries.
2 draws coming out of their games played in 2021 so far, coming from Montserrat. Thank you, Jesus, Montserrat and Guatemala.
Oh, Lyle Taylor.
I've only had half a beer, so
he's the only player I know on Montserrat.
It's a session beer.
It is a session beer, so I can't even blame anything on that. This El Salvador team, I'm excited about, and I'm excited for one reason only, because of what Hugo Perez, USMNT legend Hugo Perez, what he is doing leading this team. The fact that he's going into like MLS and like picking up like USMNT, US youth national team, like guys, you're not going to make the full team or come anywhere close. And he was like, oh, you have El Salvadorian like national team, like come on, let's come play. Eric Zavaleta got playing time in World Cup qualifying. He even captained the team from Toronto FC. Alex Roldan just got the call up for El Salvador after a fantastic start to the season that he's been having. Darwin Seren from the Dynamo is on this team. And honestly, sprinkling in a few other USL players, this El Salvador team's not looking half bad. I think that you can push them for potentially finishing second in this group. Obviously Mexico being the big dogs in this group, and we'll get to them. But my one player that I really am excited to watch is former LAFC player, and I don't remember who I was on. I was on with one of you two when we talked about this, but Joshua Perez, if you guys remember him, former Fiorentina player, LAFC player.
Now he was supposed to be so good.
He's playing in Ibiza. He's playing in Spain right now, and he absolutely killed it during World Cup qualifying. He helped push this team into making the octagonal, and he was playing a little bit on the wing, playing a little bit in the center of the field, and he was just doing well. I was loving what I was seeing from Joshua Perez. So if you guys want to sit down and watch a guy kill it in CONCACAF, Josh Perez is your dude. So that's my pick. El Salvador, I am high on them to potentially make it out of this group, but we'll talk about predictions at the end of this. Who is next? Mexico.
That would be me. Yeah, hang on. Oh, my screen just like messed up. Oh, geez. All right, I'm not going to look at the camera while I'm doing this. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Too many tabs are open. All right, so we got Mexico. That is my team. El Tri. I'm going to do some of your stats here, Tom. 2 competitive games and 6 friendlies in 2021. 12 goals scored, 5 goals allowed, 5 wins. They beat Costa Rica twice. Iceland, Panama, and Nigeria, those were friendlies. 2 losses to Wales and the United States of America, as we all remember. And they drew Honduras at some point. I actually don't. So their head coach, Tata Martino, has been in charge since January 2019. He's managed 30 matches, 25 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. Like, he's very, very good. This Mexico team is really, really good.
He didn't lose in CONCACAF against CONCACAF competition until us.
Yeah, until us. Like, he's amazing. He's really got that team. Yeah, until USA, but he's really got that team fired up on all cylinders. As you guys know, he likes to press pretty darn high, and he just likes to score. That's kind of his thing. One thing I was kind of looking at with all my teams has been their formation tendencies, and so Mexico in their friendlies against Iceland, Honduras, and Costa Rica in the Nations League semifinal, they played a 3-4-3. And then in all their other games, including the USA Nations League final, they played the 4-3-3, where they had 2 more just holding central midfielders and then 1 more attacking midfielder. So Tata has been favoring this 4-3-3 for a while, especially this past year. So I would expect to see him kind of play that way going into the Gold Cup, especially as favorites in this group to go through. I think it kind of makes sense to just go attacking. They got here. They qualified first place in the Nations League group, so they automatically made it. This is their 15th Gold Cup appearance. They have 8 titles. They are definitely one of the best teams in CONCACAF of all time, and this Mexico team is going to be no different from the others in terms of top players. Really good players that they have. Chucky Lozano, Tecatito Corona, Ache, Hector Herrera, Carlos Salcedo. Just to name a few.
You can keep going.
I could literally just keep going, but it's crazy. They are missing a couple really some big surprises, in my opinion. Guillermo Ochoa did not get called in to be in goal, which he's your goalkeeper in Mexico. Like, he's the guy.
To the Olympics.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. All right, well, that one's fair, but you know which one is not fair? Chicharito did not get called in, but Alan Pulido did, and I think that's ridiculous.
Thank you, Sam.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he didn't get called in. He has a better goal scoring record in the same league. So that's what I'll say about that. In terms of young players, Efrain Alvarez, 19-year-old attacking midfielder. I'm
calling it better players. That's
fair. I don't know you guys that's like the only one. But obviously LA Galaxy's top talent who was stolen from the United States by Tata.
Yeah.
And then also, so there's I was looking for someone who everyone hadn't already heard of. And so as my surprise player of the tournament, hopefully, as long as he gets minutes, is the 22-year-old center back Gilberto Sepulveda from Chivas.
He's been there last few games. He's been playing well.
So he's 22 years old and has been playing in the Mexican First Division for 3 years, I think it is. So he looks very, very good. And so I'm excited to kind of watch him play and kind of grow. And maybe, he looks for a move to Europe in the next few years. Mexico's really, really good. They brought their A team for this tournament. They want to freaking win. Yeah. And that's kind of the long and the short of it is Mexico is out for vengeance after losing the Gold Cup or Nations League.
Yeah, it seems like after the Nations League loss and after the guys who are, who are able to play for the Olympics and then the 3 overage players going to play for the Olympics, this is as pretty much of an A team as you're going to get from Mexico. And I forgot to ask you guys this question. Sam, you did a great job in saying it, but forgot to ask you guys this question for El Salvador. But Jason, when you look at this Mexico team, what's one player when you're sitting down you're excited to watch? Because, you could list.
Excited?
Well, who's one player that as a neutral, if you watched, Mexico take on Trinidad, you're ready to get up?
As much as it pains me to say it, wait. For Mexico, right?
Yes, for Mexico.
I thought you said El Salvador. Irving Lozano, when he's just on the pitch, it's unbelievable what he can do.
Yeah.
When he came in that Nations League game versus the U.S., it was an absolute different team. What he's able to do when he comes in, the way that just the tone of the game changes, is terrifying to me. Like, when he plays the U.S., I'm terrified. If it was any other team, I'd be terrified to see him on the other side because he's just like, I don't know even what the right word is. He's like bouncy. Like, he just goes, he's everywhere. The guy is a menace on the field. Like, he can do everything.
Yeah, I might, hear comments for this comment I'm about to make. He's the Mexican Christian Pulisic. He just does
You're like trying to cause people to get pissed.
So you're just trying to piss people off, Tom.
Yeah. Should I not have said that?
Trying to get on the map.
No, but in all reality, like, if you were to say who is like the Christian, like, not without actually quote unquote comparing their skill levels, which people love to do, but he is the same.
He's had the rise
role.
The same way.
He's the same role as Pulisic is for the U.S.
Yeah.
That's just kind of a fact.
Exactly. I'm going Edson Alvarez from Ajax, and the dude's just a very good midfielder. He's overtaken Jonathan Dos Santos' spot in the middle of that Mexican midfield. Like, just a stud. He's only 23, and he's going to be a problem for years to come from this Mexican side as well. So Mexico's good again. Woohoo. Shocker.
And, like, they're kind of young.
Yeah.
Some of them are better players.
They're in a little bit of an in-between phase right now. So they're still fucking good. It doesn't matter. And CONCACAF,
they're going to be really good.
Let's move on to Trinidad and Tobago, another dirty team word in CONCACAF, especially for USMNT fans. But this Trinidad team definitely has gotten worse since our embarrassing loss, at Trinidad. But so far, this Trinidad team has played in 7 games this 2021 calendar year, 6 of them being competitive. They've scored 13 goals, which is nice, but they've allowed 10, which is quite a few goals in 7 games. They have beaten Guyana,
Montserrat.
I get these teams, of course, whatever.
Just sound it out.
Yeah, CONCACAF is pretty fanatic.
I'm still going to need you, Sam. So
I got you.
The third win came from St. Kitts and Nevis. Their only loss so far in 2021 came from the U.S. And that was if you remember, it was like a Trinidad D team because of COVID. Yeah. It was a mess. So it was a loss, but it wasn't really that much of a loss, if that makes sense. Their draws came from Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and French Guiana. This is an interesting team led by Angus Eve, who is a Trinidad national team legend, over 100 caps for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. So shout out to Angus Eve. But not a lot of star power. Outside of Kevin Molino, not many players that you're going to be like, yo, this guy could do something. This guy could possibly link up and win the game. This Trinidad team is just not good. In my brain, I've tried as hard as I can to try to think of some storyline or spin to get excited to watch this Trinidad team, but it's hot boy or it's nothing. That's pretty much what I'm at. If he's going to magically kind of put together a goal somehow, at least in one of these group stage games, and that's it. That's all I got. That's my player. That's my Trinidad breakdown is Kevin Molino and the squad. Sam, do you have a Trinidad player outside of Kevin Molino that is exciting?
No, I do not.
No.
Jason.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, Trinidad, I can't get excited about Trinidad doing anything anymore.
He's more excited about Mexico than he is about Trinidad. What does that say?
Yeah. I was heartbroken by Trinidad.
Yeah, right?
Mexico's supposed to win sometimes.
The only thing I wanted to say about Trinidad.
Sam liked that one.
Sam liked it. The only thing is that they left off 2 players that I was a little surprised about. Jovan Jones not making it from Inter Miami. I think he's hurt, so possibly that could be why. I'm not 100% sure of his situation. And Luke Singh, the center back from Toronto FC, who's been getting a decent amount of minutes, played in CONCACAF Champions League. He's 20 years old. Maybe I would just think throw him in, get him caps in competition.
It can't be much better.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. But whatever. So
played in CONCACAF Champions League. I feel like most of the players on that team have not done that.
Yeah, exactly. You would think outside of him. All right, that is Group A. And sorry, Sam, you did this well as well. Trinidad qualified for this tournament after winning one of the 3 final spots in Gold Cup this mini Gold Cup qualifying tournament that happened the last few days. This is their 10th Gold Cup, though. So I mean,
that's impressive.
They're frequent
flyers.
The frequent flyers of the Gold Cup. Let's get into Group B, which consists of the United States, Canada, Martinique, and Haiti. I would maybe call this the group of death if we have to label one. I want to label one, so this is what I would possibly label as the group of death, even though it's still Gold Cup. But Canada. Who had Canada? Was that
Canada?
That was you.
That was actually. I thought it was me.
No, that was Sam. That was
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
My bad.
All right, back at it. It was good taking a break there. All right, so Canada, 6 competitive games in 2021, 31 goals scored, 2 goals allowed.
Oh my god!
I didn't even know that until I just looked at.
I didn't realize that either. That's
freaking
incredible. I will say they beat the Cayman Islands 11-0.
20 goals scored outside of one game. Like, come on. 6 wins. 6 wins in 6 games. They beat Haiti twice, Bermuda, Cayman Islands apparently 11-0, Aruba and Suriname. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So they are.
Suriname is such a dope name for it.
I said they beat some good teams, and Suriname is a dope name.
Yeah, they beat some kids. Suriname. I love this. So the Canucks, as they're called on Wikipedia, which I don't think is what they want to be called. But but that's also just a term for Canadians.
Yeah.
Canadians.
The Canadians.
Also hockey.
Also hockey. Their head coach is John Herdman.
They call them the Maple Leafs. All right,
that's the flag. Yeah, they're the Jets, actually. So John Herdman is their head coach. He's been in charge since January 2018. 22 games played, 18 wins and 4 losses, 0 draws in that time. Before he was the head coach of the men's team, he was in charge of the Canadian women's national team, and they got 2 straight bronze medals in the Olympics with him as their head coach. So he's got some pedigree coaching. A really good Canadian women's national team also. In terms of formation trends, they were kind of running a 4-3-3 with 2 defensive midfielders kind of holding back, including Nations League group games, and then into World Cup qualifying. That includes Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and Aruba. And then all of a sudden they switched to a 3-4-3 and a 3-5-2 against Suriname and Haiti. I think it's a lot more likely that we're going to kind of see that, 3 at the back formation, and then kind of judging from there on if they're going to play with some forward wingers or go 5 in the middle in the Gold Cup. Probably against like the United States, we'll see something more similar, more reserved in like a 3-5-2 situation again. But they have amazing wide players. Alphonso Davies, obviously. So they're going to try to utilize him as much as possible while still running with their forwards. Kyle Aaron, Jonathan David's not on this roster, right?
Jonathan David did not make.
That's right. Okay, because I was like, "There's a guy on this roster I don't see." Okay, yeah. So, but like Ao Akinyola is going to be there too. Like guys like that. I think Canada's got a pretty good setup, and I think that their head coaches found the formation that works for a team with some really good talent. So they got here second place in their Nations League group behind the United States. I just want to throw that out there. This is their 14th Gold Cup appearance, and they did win 1 title in 2000. So they have won before. So that's pretty cool.
I was waiting to see how long it would take for you to mention Alphonso Davies. Like that I was really waiting to see how.
So the Alphonso Davies team, and he's obviously their best player by far. According to Transfermarkt, he is the highest, or he's the most expensive player in this tournament by far. And he's obviously like he's won it all with Bayern Munich, and like it's tough when he was a left back when the best player in this tournament is a left back. Thank God that Herdman is trying to play him more forward as like a winger situation, so we can see him. And he, as everyone in MLS knows, he's very creative and good on the ball. So that'll be really good for everyone to watch these games. It'll be kind of tough for U.S. men's national team. That's pretty much going to be Reggie Cannon's job, I think, is to defend Alphonso Davies. So that's going to be tough.
No,
yeah, I mean, that's hard.
And just to throw in a comment from the Twitch on Jonathan David from the very popular Jimmy Conrad. He's hurt.
Oh, hello.
He's hurt. So thank
Jimmy
you.
Conrad, you're the best.
So thank you, Jimmy, on the Jonathan David.
Yeah.
Did not know that. I saw him left out. I was kind of upset. I really, for Canada's sake, right? I wanted to see them score about 700 goals with Jonathan David.
I want to see Kyle Laren score a lot.
Yeah.
So
Golden in Turkey.
Yeah. And then, I mean, although we've lost Ayo Akinyola to Canada, I think it's really exciting for him. And so that's really, really good. And he is kind of one of my young players to watch. My other young player is the 19-year-old, I'm going to try to pronounce this right because it's French, Theo Corbeanu.
Sam, I love how you get so close to your screen.
My eyes aren't
gotta read it.
You know, I gotta kind of see what I'm doing here, guys. I'm pretty old. So he's on Wolves U23 team out in England. He can play central as like a center forward, and he can also play out wide. And he scored 12 goals for the U18s and the U23s for Wolves this past season. So he's young talent. I would expect to see him coming off the bench, maybe, especially in a game against like Haiti or against a team like Martinique. I think that's kind of a game to give him some runouts on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really have anything left. Like I think you could consider Canada like a dark horse kind of thing. Like
one of the better teams in the tournament.
They're absolutely one of the better teams in the tournament, and playing in a group with the USA is tough. You think? I don't know.
So
I think that's going to be tough.
Sam, I think a dark horse is Haiti.
Oh,
okay.
Look at that transition.
I mean, I wanted to ask one more question, but we'll transition. Good. No, really quickly to wrap up Canada, Jason, is there one player that Sam didn't name that you want to see play for the Canucks? If that's what they call it.
I really like Wikipedia says that, and I really don't think that's a thing.
Honestly, I think he got everyone who I would be really excited about.
I just wanted to say Tajon Buchanan.
Yeah.
Guy's good. He's been killing it for the Revs. And in their games earlier this season, World Cup qualifying, everything like that, he's been dishing out assists. So I like it. Just feed it to Ayo, feed it to Cavallini and Hoylett and Laren and Davies and whoever else you want to mention. Because
31 goals scored. I think they can feed it to anyone pretty much.
Yeah, seriously. They can just score however they want. Oh, Mark Anthony Kaye. I wanted to throw his name out there too.
And Sam, since you had this team, I actually forgot. I wanted to talk about. Did you see why Milan Borjan was not called in?
I did not. I can do some digging for you real quick.
If you can, I would like that when we transition into Haiti, just because he's been the longtime keeper for the club for this.
Yeah,
team.
I didn't know if that was like as the goalie person. I didn't know if that was a like they're using this as that transition for Dane St. Clair and Crepeau, but like I'm not totally sure.
I would assume it's that, but if you could just do some digging.
Who will they start in goal? Crepeau?
Probably Crepeau.
I think it's probably Crepeau.
He's been the other guy getting minutes, and St. Clair lost his job in Minnesota, so probably
Crepeau.
Okay, you had an awesome transition, man. You really did.
It was really good.
Haiti.
I just jumped the gun a little bit, didn't I? I'm sorry, I got excited.
Give it to me.
Anyway, I think they're gonna have to take Haiti a bit more seriously, Sam. Because 7 games scored. 7 games.
7 games scored. Oh, that's pretty impressive.
That's great. They scored in 7 games.
7 games in 2021. You guys suck. 23 goals scored, 6 allowed. They had 5 wins against Belize, Turks and Caicos, Nicaragua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Bermuda. And their only 2 losses came against Canada.
Where they failed to qualify for the octagonal because of their 2 losses to Canada, but
damn,
after back. Anyway, it's interesting because they're also in this group. But if you look back in 2019, this Haiti team was slightly different, right? They beat Canada and then pushed it to extra time against Mexico and lost in extra time. So this isn't like a team that's something to just sleep on, right? Because if they're a team that can definitely pressure these better teams in the group. And Obviously, Canada from 2019 versus now is probably one of the most changed teams. I don't know. I'd probably put them up there with the biggest growth over those 2 years. To me, it seems. But they're definitely a great team. And Haiti it should not be overlooked, especially so they have Francie Pirot. He plays for Guingamp in League 2. League 2.
League 2.
League 2. I literally cannot speak French. But he has been great for Haiti lately. He has 4 goals in their Gold Cup prelims to help them get into the group stage. So he'll need to definitely continue that pace for them if they're going to want to do anything. So he is
he has 7 goals in 2021.
Yeah, he is the one to watch. He is by far the one to watch. He is a very good player. And I think all these the U.S., they got to look at him as, someone that really need to shut down. Otherwise, it could get dangerous. Obviously, they have Derek Etienne, who,
friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, Derek Etienne. We really like him over here. But he's someone who really he gets the region. He knows what he's doing. He's someone who also, I think Francie Pirot is the one that I think can really make a huge impact. But Derek Etienne, we've seen, have really, really great games. And if he can do that and paired with, a couple other guys stepping up, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if they upset a team or two. Hopefully it's not the U.S.
This Haiti attack is legit. You mentioned Pirot, which for the MLS listeners, which is probably everyone because that's the name of the podcast, Pirot was drafted by the Colorado Rapids in the Super Draft and did not.
Oh, I did not know that.
Did not sign a contract with the Rapids, and they've been missing a striker for ever. So maybe he could have filled in there, but you touched on Etienne and Pirot, right? Studs in this attack. You got to mention Duckins Nazan as well. He is second all time in goals for the Haitian national team, and I mentioned Pirot has 7 goals to start this 2021 year for Haiti. So does Nazan. These guys come out, they just attack, and if it's not Pirot, it's Nazan. If it's not Nazan,
be worried.
It's insane how good this Haiti attack is. Defense is a different story in my opinion, but when they get running at you, it's scary. Sam, I know you're reading about Milan Borjan, but do you have anyone on the team you're interested in?
Real quick, but my thought on Milan Borjan is he was not even on the 60-man preliminary roster.
Wow.
So take that for what it is. No one has
I think that's changing of the flag.
It very well could be. It looks like from what Herdman said, it looks like a lot of guys were still trying to stay with clubs with the shortened summer, so that could have been part of it.
Yeah. Okay. No,
I don't know.
So that makes sense.
I don't have much on Haiti. I'm sorry.
They're the dark horse.
The only other player that I want to mention is Ronaldo Damus. I think it's Damus. From what Derek Etienne Jr. told me how to say it, and I forgot how to say it. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm so sorry. But he, coming out of the FC Dallas Academy, that's a pretty good academy to come out of, right? He won USL League One with North Texas when he was on loan from FC Dallas, or that whole mess of things. Now he's on Orange County in the USL Championship. He has 6 goals and an assist in 8 games this season. He's absolutely killing it. Orange County has that partnership with Rangers in the Scottish Premiership. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this dude playing for Rangers in 2-3 seasons, something like that. He's very good. He's very young. And if, Nazan and Pirot and Etienne weren't on this team, he would probably be that feature striker because he's that good. He's 21. I'm excited to see if he can get some minutes in this Gold Cup because he hasn't been capped yet by Haiti, which I think, he's not a dual national in any capacity. I just want to see him play. That's pretty much what I'm at. But that is Haiti. I am up with back-to-back teams. That's fun. That's
putting in that work.
That's a lot of talking from me. Jesus, I feel bad for the listeners.
Oh, sorry.
Martinique, they are the only team to come into this tournament without playing a single game in 2021. So they're set up for some good stuff. That's what
They're not tired.
They are not tired.
That is true.
Their head coach is Mario Boccali. Not much out there about him and not much out there about this team. A lot of the players are playing in the Martinique First Division. I will just toss that out there. There are 5 players who on this roster who are playing outside of Martinique. There are 2 playing in Ligue 2, 1 playing in the Serie A, 1 playing in the Segunda Division, the 2nd division in Spain, and 1 playing in the 8th division of France. So
there you go.
This is where we're at.
Oh my goodness.
So
the 8th division of France.
I feel like if he's playing for his national team, he should be better than the 8th division in a country.
It's Martinique.
Still, 8th division?
Hey man, everyone's got to start somewhere. I wouldn't give him too much crap.
How many divisions are there in France? 9?
9.
The 9th is the beer league?
Jason's coming in with some salty takes today.
Okay, I don't actually want to insult he's about to destroy me on the side.
Martinique is my
would.
of course.
And me too.
But
Martinique is
I
my
apologize to Martinique as a country.
There are 2 players that I want to highlight and talk about that if you guys for some reason are catching Martinique and you want to be like, let's watch. They have a striker who's playing in the Serie A. He plays for Crotone in the Serie A. So they're there. They're definitely bouncing around between Serie A and Serie B.
Team there.
There is the way he described.
He scored a goal in the Serie A last year too. Big.
He scored against Juventus?
Big. He scored against Genoa.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Honestly, scoring a goal in general is pretty good.
Especially in Serie A.
Yeah.
So I just mentioned his name. His name is Emmanuel Riviere. So if you want to see the
It's a sick name.
He definitely is.
Wish I had that name.
Riviere. The best player on this team is Patrick Berner. He is a right back. He plays.
That's a sick name as well. I'm sorry.
Great name.
For a right back especially.
He plays for Nimes in Ligue 2. Obviously a lot of French connections here, but he's coming out of the Nice Academy. Apparently very good player. He had a goal and an assist last year as well. So he's played in Ligue 1, a lot of time in Ligue 2. If you're going to watch anyone, watch Patrick Berner. He apparently is rumored to make the jump to some middle-tier Ligue 1 teams this offseason. So maybe this Gold Cup will be a nice little boost for him to get that if he can show for a Martinique team. I would ask you guys if there's anyone on Martinique that you guys want to see.
Patrick Berner.
I'm pretty hyped for Emmanuel Riviere, personally.
I like both of them.
Yeah, I would mention the other ones, but it's really not.
I'm just saying, Samuel Camille, 8th division in France.
Yeah, there you go.
Killing it.
Left back. The back line's coming together.
Yeah.
My God.
This is what it's all about, Jason.
And they have
this is what summer tournaments are for.
Can you even watch the 8th division? And what are those stadiums even look like? Is it just like
it's like 300 people?
Like the park, like down the street.
The only thing that I'll say about Martinique is that 3 of their 5 players who play outside of Europe are on the back line, left back, right back, and a center back. So maybe that's where the strength of the team is. Maybe it's a powerhouse is what I'm hearing out of Martinique. But United States of America. Jason, we talked about this with the preliminary roster. Sam, we talked about the final 23
final roster.
Yeah. If you guys want a super in-depth breakdown of the United States of America, our opinions on the roster, who should start, starting 11s, all of that, go and listen to the last 2 weeks' episodes because Sam and myself, Jason and myself, we talk about it. We do all of that. At a super high level, USA, led by Greg Berhalter, Triple G, 2 competitive games so far in 2021 and 5 friendlies. We've scored 22 goals and we have allowed 6 so far in 2021. We have beaten Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Northern Ireland, Honduras, Costa Rica, and of course that Mexico final in Nations League. We have not drawn a game, but we did lose to Switzerland 2-1, and Switzerland just had a pretty good run in the Euros, so I can't complain too much about that there. This is pretty much an MLS-based roster. Again, we've talked about this plenty of times already, so go back and listen if you want a breakdown of the roster. Really just want to mention a few quote-unquote stars of this team, and I think the biggest star is Daryl Dike, on loan at Barnsley, killing it, back with Orlando City, scoring goals. He is going to be scoring a ton of goals in this tournament against Martinique. That's all I have to say about it.
They could have used him last night.
Oh.
Orlando.
They could have. Do you
what happens when you lose your star player?
Outside of
You
Daryl,
lose 3-1 in the fire. Sorry.
outside of Daryl Dike, do you guys have a player you want to watch from the U.S. mainly?
I just like watching the U.S.
I mean, we are.
We just,
We're
honestly, like, if I need to say it again, I just really want Kellen and Costa to do really well.
That's fine.
If you want to know why, just listen to every other episode.
Exactly. Sam, do you have someone that you want everyone to listen to older episodes to reassure a point to?
Yeah, let's talk about Paul Arriola for a second. Not the other guy.
Not Sebastian Lletget?
No. Paul Arriola. I'm here for Paul Arriola, man. I think this is kind of like his comeback tournament anyway. So, like, I think he's going to be shooting for big things. And like I said earlier, Reggie Cannon, like, he's going to have to put in that work against Alphonso Davies in that Canada game.
And Eric Williamson. So we're gonna.
Eric Williamson.
We're done. We're done. No more U.S. talk. If you want to talk, last 2 episodes, go hear it because that's all we fucking talked about.
Wait, when's the first game? That's like coming up, right?
The first game is the 10th. The 10th.
Fantastic. There we go. 2 days.
This weekend, boys. This weekend. Let's jump to Group C. The group consists of Costa Rica,
talk some more.
Costa Rica, Jamaica, Suriname, and Guadalupe. I'm going to give the listeners a little sneak peek or look behind the curtain. I let you guys pick your teams first, and you guys pick some interesting teams in this group. So
we didn't even pick I was trying to avoid
I think I picked the biggest team in this group.
Who's it?
Oh, you did? Okay. I forgot who you picked.
Wait, oh my gosh, I thought you picked Suriname. I was like, what?
Okay. So,
no, guys, I picked Jamaica first.
Yes.
Okay.
He picked Jamaica. He picked Jamaica. So
good enough.
I will start with Costa Rica. No one wanted to touch this Costa Rica team, so I will go for it here.
Costa Rica doesn't even want to touch that team.
That is going to be a theme that you're going to see.
Oh my goodness! That was nice.
So Costa Rica is led by head coach Luis Fernando Suarez. They have played 5 games so far this 2021 calendar year, 2 of them being competitive. They have scored 2 goals in those 5 games, but they've allowed 7.
Sounds like a team with Francisco Calvo. Oh,
it is. This Costa Rica team has not won a game in 2021.
What a coincidence.
They drew. They drew to Bosnia and Herzegovina. So
I'm having too much fun, guys.
That was their only result. They lost to Mexico twice, Honduras, and the United States of America. So those were the 4 losses. This group, I want to start with the people who are not here first because there's quite a few players who didn't want to play for Costa Rica, were in club situations, or just straight up injured. So players who did not want to play for Costa Rica, Keylor Navas, star goalkeeper, he's had the fantastic career, probably like the greatest.
He's also knows he has a bad club situation now with Donnarumma joining PSG.
Yeah, but I think it was an interview, and I could be 100% wrong, so I'm definitely starting out this sentence by saying that Tom Sweetie could be 100% wrong on this. I was reading a translation of an interview, and it said that, why would I spend any time with a national team that's not going anywhere?
I don't know. He would raise their ceiling a lot.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but the floor stays where it is.
The floor is garbage. Are you saying they're at their floor?
Nashville SC winger Randall Leal. I could not find why he didn't get called in, but he's not here as well. Christian Gamboa, who plays for Bochum in Germany, I'm pretty sure. He's injured, so he is not going to be there at right back. And then Manfred Ugalde, who was last year was bought by the City Football Group, went to play in the Belgian second division by whatever team City Football Group owns there. He scored 11 goals and 3 assists in 16 games, and now he's going to Twente. So he's very good. He's like a 19 or 20-year-old striker. He's not going to be there because he's trying to figure out his club situation. So those are the people not there. Some pretty big, important players for Costa Rica. The players who are there, Francisco Calvo's there. He's there. And
you guys remember when Calvo used to play for Minnesota?
Looks like he's holding down the fort, guys. 7 goals allowed. That's not too bad. How many games have they played? Only like 15, 20? Oh no. Oh, only 5.
But Jason, Francisco Calvo plays better for Costa Rica than he does anyone else.
That's for sure.
Fair. Hey, I mean, I'm not missing him right now. I'll tell you that much.
Ronald Matarrita, also part of this back line. Kendall Waston, he's still bouncing around the Costa Rica national team there. Brian Oviedo.
How old is he now?
Kendall Waston's 33.
Oh, wow. That's straight out.
I guess the star of this team, the player you're going to want to sit down to watch playing for Monterrey is Joel Campbell. Obviously former Arsenal legend Joel Campbell. Obviously, who would forget his days in Arsenal? But really,
Wenger.
Who's that?
This Costa Rican national team is in shambles, is not in a good spot. Players don't want to play for the team. Many of their players are aging and playing for Saprissa or Alajuelense or Arellano in the Costa Rican First Division. Good teams, but they're just aging playing for the teams. That's the issue. So outside of a few, I think, young, starish players playing in MLS or overseas, not a good situation right now for Costa Rica. I personally don't have them doing well in this tournament, but we'll get to predictions at the end. Sam, is there anyone on the Costa Rica national team that I missed?
That you missed? No, I am really excited to see Joel Campbell play. It's been a long time coming to kind of get another step for the national team. Like I think he's ready to hop out. How old is he now? Probably 26. Wow, I was actually closer than I thought I would be. 29. Yeah, I mean, all right, so that's tough. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Like that's I was expecting him to be younger.
Okay.
But he's been around. He's been around the world. So
been around forever. Jason, anyone that I didn't
I'm not excited about this team.
No. So Francisco Calvo for 20 minutes. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah.
20 minutes would be a depressing 20 minutes.
The history of the Chicago Fire.
Let's move into Guadalupe. Was that me as well?
No, that's me.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Move into Guadalupe.
You get a 2 spot.
Those are my guys.
Break.
Guadalupe is my squad, right?
Those are my guys, man. Like I really enjoyed actually looking up Le Guada Boys as they are, which I don't think is, I don't know. It feels wrong to say actually, but that's what it says on Wikipedia. Le Guada Boys, which translates to the Guada Boys. So it also felt weird. So they played 2 competitive games in 2021, 3 goals scored, 1 goal allowed. Those 2 wins were against the Bahamas and Guatemala, and that Guatemala game was a 10-9 penalty kick win to get them to the Gold Cup.
Yep.
And it's on YouTube, and you can watch it, and it's intense. It's intense for someone who literally knows the result. Like it was crazy to watch. So that one's worth watching. Very, very intense. So their head coach is Jocelyn Angloma. He was appointed in December of 2017. He has 15 matches under his belt, 8 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses. Just a fun fact about him, because I don't have a lot of fun facts about the team. He played in the Euros in 92 and 96 for France and even scored a goal and was on, I believe, team of the tournament for like 92 or 90, one of those 2. But he is from Guadalupe, though, originally, and he came out of retirement to play for Guadalupe and helped them qualify for the 2007 Caribbean Nations Cup. So that's pretty cool.
Sam, you're bringing the fun facts about Guadalupe. Possibly the worst team in the tournament.
Disagree. Guadalupe is a French colony.
They are.
And so they can't be a member of FIFA. And so they're not ever going to get to go to the World Cup because of that. And so this is the biggest competition they can ever play in. So this is a really big deal for Guadalupe.
Sad, man. No,
it is depressing, isn't it?
Sam, I think also Martinique falls in that category.
Martinique also does fall in that
You're
category.
telling me that like Pogba could just be like, I want to play for them?
If he's from there.
Or his parents are from there.
Yeah. But like but all the players from Guadeloupe and Martinique are French citizens, so they're therefore eligible to play for France.
So like their best players probably would like
go to France, which is what happened with their head coach. He played for France in the Euros, obviously, instead of for Guadeloupe. And then, but then he came out of retirement to play for a team that's not technically FIFA sanctioned. So like he was allowed to do
Guadeloupe at any point because they're not a FIFA team. So they can go play back and forth if they want to.
Just like who did that for Martinique 2 years ago? It was like it was an ex like Chelsea player.
Really? Okay, you talk about Guadeloupe. I'm looking this up.
All right, yeah. So their formation trend, I couldn't really find much, except for in official competitions, which there were 2 games of. In the Gold Cup qualification games, they played a 3-4-3 against the Bahamas, and then they became much more defensive against Guatemala and played a 5-3-2. So essentially, they were playing, that 5-back formation in both games, and obviously 5-3-2 worked against Guatemala, and that's probably what we're going to see under or in the Gold Cup, just because they're going to have to play really defensively to do well, and so it's going to be pretty tough. They have not too many players that don't play in the Guatemalan league, so Matthias Feitan, who is I got that name wrong. He's 21 years old, and he's a forward for Guingamp in the French second division. He's got a couple goals under his belt for Guingamp. Michael Alphonse, who's a 31-year-old right back for Amiens, also in France. And then we have Johan Thuram, who's a 32-year-old goalkeeper, also for Amiens in France. Honestly, though, Thuram actually is pretty good, and so he's probably what I would say is one of their better players, but he is 32. So this will be his only Gold Cup competition, really, so that's kind of tough. I don't have a surprise player because I can't really find much. I don't really know what's going to come out of this team. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be a tough slog for them this entire tournament, unfortunately. Honestly, but good for them for making it. And honestly, like the trip to make it, that's super exciting. Like the way they did it.
That's what I was going to say is that win against Guatemala to make it. Like Guatemala didn't qualify for the Gold Cup, and Guadeloupe did. Like,
that's massive. Yeah,
like, that's huge. They beat a decent team in CONCACAF to make it, and I think again, like Sam, like you said, just the representation here is just fantastic. Good for them. I can't find that ex-Chelsea French player, so I'm not too concerned about it. Jamaica, Jason. Your boys, the Reggae boys.
So these guys, I mean, in my opinion, this is the biggest team in this group.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just cut in real quick. It was not Martinique. It was French Guiana, who essentially did the same thing, and it was Florent Malouda.
Okay. And
sorry, Jason.
I can never.
No, you're good. Anyways, back to Jamaica. They played 2 competitive games. Not great record here. 2 goals scored, 5 allowed. They lost to the U.S. and they drew to Serbia. But I'm not too worried about that because this team is loaded. First, let's talk about the people that aren't there because they have Mikel Antonio from West Ham who announced his intent to play. I'm not sure if he's actually played a game from what I've seen.
He has not.
But he's intended. Swansea's Jamal Lowe and Watford's Andre Gray both made their debuts in March. From what I understand, I think that the only reason they're not there is because of how recent everything happened. Since they made their debuts in March, it's probably tough to get them all on the same page or whatever. So those are guys that won't be there that are pretty massive names. But obviously, I mean, the star, Leon Bailey, he is for Bayer Leverkusen. He's a great player. We were talking about him a little bit before the pod. About how, sometimes his performances for Jamaica aren't, up to what a lot of people's standards would be for a player of his quality. But at the end of the day, I mean, he does have that quality. So, I mean, hopefully he can find that in this tournament. They got 2 Fulham guys, Bobby Reed and Michael Hector. Obviously, Andre Blake, who's their captain, He's going to be the guy holding down the fort. He's amazing. A keeper that we see week in and week out with Philadelphia. One of, honestly, my favorite keepers in MLS. He's just really fun to watch. He alone, I mean, we talked about this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago about keepers who can just win games on their own. And he is one of those guys who is so good that there are moments where he is the person and he's the reason that they're going to win. But with this team, I mean, there's a ton of talent. They have Kamar Lawrence. So, I mean, another guy from MLS, TFC, who is pretty quality. But honestly, this team is just stacked with talent. I think, in my opinion, like, these guys should win this group pretty easily. Yeah, probably pretty easily. I was looking at something wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, this team's really good. I don't know. Who do you guys – I think one guy who I think could break out is Shamar Nicholson, who plays in the Belgian First Division. I almost forgot to even mention him.
He's very good.
He's really good, and he's going to be alongside Bailey in attack, which, I mean, there's going to be a lot of attention on Bailey. So I think he's going to get his chances. And if he performs at a high level, this team is just going to ride it. This is a team that, they made it to the finals in 2015 and 2017, and they were fourth in 2019. So they're not, they're experienced. They know what they're doing. This is not a tournament that's new to them in any way.
Exactly. Sam, I have one player I want to mention that Jason did not. Do you have anyone that you want to mention?
Yeah, so now I'm slowly realizing I think the roster I'm looking at is not the Gold Cup roster because Andre Gray is on this roster. And so that's really
maybe it's a preliminary. I think he might have been in a preliminary.
I don't know. Sure. This is the transfer mark roster. I don't know, but he's.
I don't think he is on the. I could be wrong.
I think he made it.
Did he?
From what I'm saying.
Well, there you go. I'm excited about Andre.
Well, and then that case they're even better.
Look at that. Yeah, I was saying they're better to have him. And
it looks like he might have made it. Yeah, he also.
There you go. So everything Jason said about Andre Gray not being there, ignore it.
Wrong.
In the building.
Oops.
I'm looking forward because I know Ravel Morrison is going to play. Like he's 28 years old and he doesn't have a club right now, but he's still very, very good. And I think this is going to be a tournament to get him picked up by someone probably.
Let's bring the MLS. That's what I want.
Probably.
I want to see Scory Burke score. Corey Burke is the man. Love him. I just think he's a good backup option on this attack. Like you bring him in as a sub for this Jamaica team. I mean, he's gonna score. He's gonna produce. That's why his name is Scory Burke. So that's Jamaica. Any other Jamaica takes before I give you guys everything you want to know about Suriname?
I'm hyped.
Very good.
Okay, Suriname. Stack team. What don't you want to know about Suriname? Led by Dean Gore, who is also he's been managing the team for a while. He's from Suriname, if I understand that correctly as well. So excited to see him managing, his home country as well. 4 competitive games in 2021. They've scored 15 goals and only allowed 4. All 4 of those goals they allowed to Canada. So everyone else they're doing well against, except for Canada. Canada was their only loss in this 2021 calendar year, and they have beat Bermuda, Aruba, and the Cayman Islands, which I feel bad for the Cayman Islands. Everyone just beat up on them from what we're seeing. Not many stars, not many players to pinpoint and hold down. For MLS fans, for fans in U.S. soccer, you guys know the name Kelvin Leerdam. He's won trophies with Seattle Sounders, now playing for Inter Miami. He is the right back on this team. Playing next to him is the captain, Ryan Donk. Was playing at Galatasaray last season. He currently does not have a club. He is the captain. He has scored so far to start this 2021 calendar year as well. Another player that does not have a club right now, but he has, a very European-based career is Nigel Hasselbank. I think from what I was counting in their 4 games, he has 7 goals to start this campaign for him. So Hasselbank is probably going to be their striker up top, like the dude who's going to be – they're going to just be aiming for it to ping it in the back of the net, right? The only other player that I wanted to mention for the Suriname squad is Geraldo Becker. He plays for Union Berlin. He plays in the midfield. He is one of the key cogs in that midfield that is not overly talented. So just a few guys out there: Ryan Donk, Geraldo Becker, Nigel Hasselbank, Kelvin Leardom. Those are the four. If you're watching Suriname and you want to see Suriname potentially make it out of this group, those are the four who are going to do it, in my opinion. Guys, I don't know if you have any Suriname takes, but lay it on me if you do.
I want them to get out of the group.
I like it.
But I always want the small teams to get out. Like, I want them to do well. I think that's way more exciting.
I agree. All right. Let's talk about Group D: Honduras, Panama, Grenada, and Qatar, however the hell you want to say it. Who has Grenada?
I do.
That's you. Go for it.
Yeah, so Grenada. Fun team.
Was this one of the teams you were saying you have not much to say?
I after research I got a little bit more, but I got excited about them a little bit. I wanted to pick them because I just wanted just a random team, right?
That's fine.
Plus, like Sam said, the small teams are fun to root for. They're small countries.
And see, after doing all this research, now you're going to be like, come on, Grenada in every game.
Oh, I will be. They have 4 competitive games in 2021. 2 goals scored, 5 goals allowed. 1 win versus the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. 3 losses versus El Salvador, Antigua, and Barbuda.
Barbuda, yeah.
Is that actually how you say that? Okay. And Montserrat.
Oh, you can't say it either.
What's up? Just say it, Jason.
Montserrat.
There you go.
I was saying it too fast. I said monster.
This is awesome. Monster.
Anyway, the Stars.
I'm sorry to all Montserrat people listening to this.
They've got some people that don't play in the Grenada First Division, which is the ones that
That's good.
Aaron Pierre plays for Shrewsbury Town. Regan Charles Cook plays for Ross County. I don't actually know what that is. AJ Patterson, Charleston Battery. Omar Beckles is Leighton Orient, and Ali Norburn plays for Shrewsbury Town. This is actually their 3rd ever appearance in the Gold Cup. Their last one was 10 years ago in 2011, so that's pretty exciting for them. They're managed by Michael Finlay, who is a Canadian. He managed them since January of 2021. He got the job, but he was actually an interim head coach for Canada in 2016, and they improved pretty well during that time. But he he went back to being an assistant after Canada hired their new head coach. They have 6 games played in their Gold Cup history. They have 0 wins and 1 goal. So we're hoping just to turn that around.
Let's just score a second goal.
No, we're hoping to get a win in the cup. 1 win, 2 goals. That's
I have lower expectations.
Someone who I found who I think I'm pretty excited about is Jamal Charles, not the football player. He's 25 years old. He has 23 appearances. Okay, everywhere I looked had a different number for this, so this could be slightly off, but he has 23 appearances and 14 goals, which is good
Pretty freaking good.
3rd all time for their team in 23 appearances.
So he's generational talent.
Actually, he plays for Real Sociedad, 25 appearances and 8 goals there on loan from Real España. So he's the guy to watch.
Like the Honduras Real Sociedad, not the one in Spain.
Yeah. Tom's over here looking at me like I'm crazy.
So I'm looking on Transfermarkt, and
what is he going to say?
I mean, I'm sure it's difficult to keep to stay up to date with a lot of these players, but Transfermarkt doesn't even have that this dude is on Real España or Sociedad. They have him that he's playing on Sociedad, but there's nothing about Real España on his Transfermarkt.
Yeah, nope.
Real España right here, July 1st, 2019.
I mean, maybe he's never played.
He left and
Got
joined.
you. No, I see it now. I'm dumb. I was looking at this. He's played in USL. That's
Real Monarchs. Yeah.
Real Monarchs. Isn't this really exciting podcast to listen to?
I'm gonna get the fire to bag him.
You should.
That's Grenada. I don't want to spend too much.
Almost all their players play in the Grenada First Division for a team called Paradise, which is a dope team.
That's cool.
Paradise FC, and so that might help them. They have won the league championship on 5 occasions.
Wow.
Okay.
They also have a guy from a New Amsterdam FC in Nisa.
Yeah. Nisa, what's up?
Nisa.
I'm done talking about Granada. Who has Honduras?
You.
That's me. Got it.
Yeah, you have the next 2.
Honestly, when no one says anything, I just know it's my time to speak. So,
It's
Honduras.
your time to shine.
Boy, you didn't have a good transition lined up? Oh.
Not from Granada.
No.
No, didn't. Honduras, they have played 5 games so far in 2021, 2 of them being competitive. In those games, they have scored 4 goals and allowed 6. Their one win in those 5 games came against Costa Rica. They lost to the United States and Greece. And then they also drew Belarus and Mexico. So not a bad result there against Mexico. And a win over Costa Rica. This Honduras team, dare I say, dark horses. They're not. They're definitely not. But this team is led by Fabian Coito.
Granada, however.
The star of this team, the dude who we know from MLS, the dude who is killing it in Europe right now is Albert Ellis, playing at Boavista. Potentially, rumors he's coming back to MLS because Boavista is just an absolute shithole right now. So Albert Ellis, he's the dude who they're just going to try to hit on a counter. They're going to try to dunk it over the top to him and have him sprint after it and put it in the back of the net. Him and Romel Quioto is what Honduras has been targeting on every attack for like the past 4 or 5 years now, I feel like. So that's Honduras. They're going to aim for their stars up top and really hope that the defense can hold up for a few games. That's my breakdown of the Honduran national team. You guys have anyone that I missed? No?
I'd be interested to see how Brian Acosta does.
Yeah, I'm not too high on Brian Acosta, especially.
You don't have to be high on him. I'm just curious to see how he does in this tournament.
I think he's gonna be poor. Be very poor, but whatever.
Shit. Granada's gonna put him in his. Jamal Charles about to score 5.
Charles,
Tell you what,
is gonna take that 1,400 rushing yard season he had for the Chiefs and shove it down their throat.
NFL aces over here.
Panama, the Panamanian national team is actually, I think, arguably the best in this group. They had 8 games played in 2021 so far, 6 of them being competitive. They've scored 21 goals in 8 games and allowed 5.
I mean, Canada scored 31.
So
What's up?
So are they just like bad? They can't do that either.
They have 5 wins against Barbados, Dominicana, Anguilla, the Dominican Republic, and Curacao. They have draws against Curacao and Serbia, and a loss against Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah, I wonder why. They have some more known names on this team than Honduras. So definitely want to point out Andres Andrade. He is a center back for LASK in the Austrian Bundesliga. Their best player, according to many sites, according to many people that I've read and seen in my whole research these past few days. So if you're going to want to watch a center back do his thing, Andrade is probably your best shot on this team. Gabriel Torres is a striker for Pumas and Liga MX, along with winger Yoel Barcenas for Club Tijuana. So you got some Liga MX attack thrown in there, and they're typically pretty good. For you MLS fans, Anibal Godoy, the defensive midfielder for Nashville SC, is also a starting D-mid for this Panamanian national team. And Cecilio Waterman, he plays for CD Everton. And I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head right now. I completely just blanked on what country that is in, but it is somewhere in South America, I think in Chile. And he's been scoring goals to the start of this season. I think right now he has 4 goals to start 2021. So good on him. And they're going to need everyone they can to get up into that attack and score goals and just play at their best to really lead out of this group, because this group is an absolute crapshoot in my opinion. But that's all I got. And Honduras. Sam, you want to finish things up with Qatar?
Yes, I'd love to get into this and talk about Qatar. Sorry, Jason was talking about a transition. I've been thinking about it for 3 countries now.
That's a bit forced.
This is the best I got. So Qatar, our benevolent World Cup hosts in 2022, have been invited to join this tournament. Which, say what you will, at the end of the day, they're here, so whatever. 2 competitive games in 2021 and 5 friendlies. However, Transfermarkt only had 4 friendlies, and it took me a while to find the Croatia-Qatar friendly, in which Qatar won 3-1 against the great Croatian team. So that's a good win.
It was a non-FIFA sanctioned friendly in which anyone who has played for Croatia before could not have played in that game. So it was like a Croatian C team.
Oh, that's awesome.
So just throwing that out there for people.
I'm glad you found that.
Well, they're better than the Croatian C team.
Yeah, by 2 goals. They also have beaten Luxembourg, Azerbaijan, India, Oman, and El Salvador most recently. 10 goals scored, 3 goals allowed, 0 losses, obviously, and they drew the Republic of Ireland. So,
did they use a pen for that drawing them? I'm sorry.
It was actually a wand. So,
we're at the episode now, folks.
Yeah,
we're at the point of the episode where I read this Cecilia Waterman's name, and I am not dyslexic, never once in my life, and I read watermelon.
Never once in my life have I been.
Never once has I been
dyslexic. And waterman to watermelon would not mean you have dyslexia.
No, it just means
isn't that like you don't see the words right?
It would mean you're illiterate.
That was worse.
Okay, that's worse. What is dyslexia? I thought it's where you read a word.
You see it back.
Right? Yeah, you like read letters or numbers always.
Right? No, but they're jumbled.
I'm not dyslexic, so I don't know. I just don't know. I'm sorry. So anyway, Qatar. The Crimsons. That's my last team name for you guys. The Crimsons, and so their head coach is Felix Sanchez. He actually worked his way up from the U19 team to the U20s to the U23s, and now he's coaching the main team. He's from Spain, and he actually used to coach the Barcelona Youth Academy before he's over here. I assume that has to do with money.
Did he help Conrad?
No, I think he finished in 2003 from Barcelona, and so he's managed the team, the senior side since 2017.
So he helped Messi.
He helped Messi. Actually, yeah, like that's true.
Interesting.
Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, like all those guys.
I knew I'm picking them.
Yeah, so shout out to Felix Sanchez. 58 games managed, 33 wins, 9 draws, 16 losses. He also won the AFC Asian Cup in 2019. And so let's see. In terms of formations, again, it's kind of hard to find a lot of stuff about Qatar, even though they are going to host the World Cup. 5-3-2 seems to be their most recent formation when they played against El Salvador and when they beat Oman in World Cup qualification. They have that 5 at the back and then 2 central midfielders to kind of hold it back, and then their third central midfielder is a 10. Who's going to play in between those 2 strikers and kind of try to be their creative outlet. They got here. It was kind of a stupid addition because they're hosting the World Cup. But like they shouldn't be. So don't want to get political, but fuck them. Like just saying.
I have nothing to add on this Qatar team. I'm just going to say that.
All right, so I'll kind of run through a couple things then real quick.
Words.
Almost Ali. Is a 22-year-old forward who plays for a team in Qatar, who I'm just not going to disrespect them like that. But last season, 30 games played, 7 goals, 7 assists, including a goal in the Club World Cup because Qatar was hosting. They also have Abdel Karim Hassan, a 27-year-old left back and center back for Al Sadd. He actually, like from everything I can kind of tell, is pretty darn good. So also all the players for Qatar play in the Qatar First Division. Like there's no one from outside.
Doesn't like most of their team play for Al Sadd? Yeah,
it's Al Sadd and then Al Juhail are like the 2 teams. And then also Meshral Barsham is a 23-year-old goalkeeper, and he had 8 shutouts in 18 games last year. He's kind of like my player to watch for. He's young, and he's probably going to be the goalkeeper in the World Cup unless he like really messes something up. So I kind of keep an eye out for him because he's going to be playing that first game of the World Cup next year. I do think that Qatar is a good team. They've got a solid lineup, and especially they have really good coaching who coached Messi. So I here's what I'll say, guys. Their floor is 4th place, and their ceiling is knockouts.
Their floor is 4th place in their group, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, and then their ceiling is knockouts. I think
their ceiling
they
is
would
winning
surprise
it.
them. Yeah, well, there you go.
Possible.
So I've been thinking about that one all day, Tom. I'm sorry, but they really, to me, do feel like that. It's one or the other, and there's no in between.
Okay,
So there you go.
that is Qatar. That might be
That's
the
Qatar.
most broken down version of this team you're going to find anywhere on the internet. So there you go.
I honestly think,
Good
guys,
shit,
that we
Sam.
did
You were
a
one of
pretty darn
one.
good breakdown of all these teams. I think we did pretty well for ourselves, guys.
Let's quickly wrap things up. Well,
Yes.
we will. I'm a big predictions guy. You guys know I am if you listen to this podcast before. You two definitely know I am.
You know.
What are we predicting?
Top 2 teams to make it out of each group.
I'm just kidding.
Come on. So
Jason's
I'm
like, I
gonna
don't know about that.
I kind of want to just pull some left field predictions here.
You
We're
gotta pick a team to do that.
we're wrapping the episode up after this, so we're gonna go through predictions and be done. You guys.
Sounds like I'm trying to go to sleep.
I have to edit this thing. That's the issue.
Oh, Tom's like, screw you guys. You're going to go to sleep.
Group A, Jason, who are your 2 teams making it out 1 and 2?
You're throwing me in the mix first. Okay.
I can do it.
In the mix.
Mexico
Shocker.
will make it out of the group. And I think Curacao.
Okay. Sam.
I have to agree with that.
And I have to agree with that as well. I hate being the agreeing podcast.
Wow, what the hell, guys?
I just don't really
Well, when
have
you
that.
make good picks, like, come on, Jason.
Oh, thank
I
you.
will say I like El Salvador a lot.
I thought one of you
Yes.
guys would pick El Salvador.
El Salvador is very good. I like them. I think they
Third
could push
place.
yes, 3rd place. Sam, Group B. Who are your 2 teams making it
Is
out?
that us? Are we Group B?
That is us.
It's taken me forever to find a website with the groups.
Go to
All right.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's what I finally. Did you say Wikipedia?
No, I said Wikipedia.
Dyslexic.
Jesus.
Can't speak.
I'm not dyslexic.
Well,
That's the whole point of me trying to say that I wasn't. I just read watermelon. It's late.
watermelon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go USA then Canada.
Okay.
I do like Haiti a lot, and unless they pull something off against Canada,
Oh, I want
just
to pick
think it's-
Haiti so
I know.
bad.
Don't you wish that there were 3rd place teams going through like in the Euros? Like, I mean, it's so much easier to make picks.
I'm going to pick USA and Haiti.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. Make some people upset.
I'm going USA.
Me, I'm gonna be upset.
I'm going the Sam pick, USA, Canada.
So-
Group C, Jason, who are your 2 teams making it out?
Jamaica. Oh,
Okay.
this one's actually kind of tough.
Group
Drumroll,
C and D are
please.
tough.
Isn't it tough?
See, let me go back and look through some of them.
I will say this, that Sam, can I also say that I think we all have Jamaica winning the group?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we all have
definitely.
Jamaica winning the group. It comes down to who's going to finish second.
I think I'm going to choose Suriname.
Suriname. Okay. I am also going to say that I went with Suriname as my.
Oh my gosh! Can you be less original?
I know. So sorry, Sam. Who's your 2?
You just get screwed for picking last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Costa Rica. I think that as much as their team is kind of crappy, I think that they have enough just like old heads kind of talent that's just they're gonna beat through Guatemala and Suriname, and then they're gonna get smoked in whoever they play in the knockout rounds. But
They'll bunker into a 2nd place finish.
yeah, I think so.
Hopefully not. That would be unfun.
Group D, Sam, I think you're up first.
Yeah.
Maybe the toughest of groups to pick.
Oh, I think this group's gonna be the most fun to watch though,
Yes.
because I think it is the most open.
I'm excited to watch C outside of the Jamaica just dominating.
Yeah, Guadalupe Suriname is gonna be a good game.
I actually think it will.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna actually. This might surprise you. Maybe it's because I was just talking about them that I'm kind of impressed with this team. Although the problem is Qatar is not prepared for shit housing in CONCACAF.
No,
I just don't think they are. So I'm gonna say
pissed.
Honduras 1 and Qatar 2.
okay.
Because I want to pick Qatar 1, but there's no way that they handle Panama well.
Okay. Jason, you're 2.
Oh man,
I can go if you want.
I think I'm gonna do what Sam did, but switch them.
Qatar and Honduras. Okay. I'm going Panama and Honduras. I really like this Panama squad.
Yeah, it's not high on this team.
They made the octagonal.
They're gonna lose to Qatar.
Did it El Salvador? Like
Qatar's a good team.
Yeah, man. Didn't you just hear us talk about Qatar?
Yeah, they beat Croatia.
Panama just beat
Croatia's Z team.
Pete Curacao or Caraco to go back from
it's Curacao
to make the octagonal.
Yeah, I'm trying to make Caraco make sense.
You can't make Caraco a thing, guys.
I think my picks will make for the most enjoyable tournament. But
sorry.
This has been a late episode for us. I think everyone listening or watching can tell that it's getting tired for us here.
I'm feeling good.
Everyone.
Jason's also an hour behind us.
Yeah. Everyone.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Has been with us.
Sucks for you guys.
Rocking with us this episode 192 of the MLS Aces podcast. Thank you, Jason. Sam, thank you, Jason. Tonight you are interesting. Rare form, Jason.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Jason, that was an episode.
Yeah. That is certainly something.
That's so funny.
Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.